Hey there team, welcome back to the channel, welcome to my overview of Homeworld 3. So for those not across it, here on the channel I do overviews and reviews pretty much daily, and when I do one of these overviews, it's just to look at the first 2 hours of the game, that being the Steam refund window. Steam thinks that you can make up your mind about whether you want to keep a game or not in 2 hours, and I generally agree. Broadly speaking, 20 hours in, you're not going to really change your mind about how you felt 2 hours in. This also allows me to soft triage what I will and won't review going forward with whatever other time I have spare in the week. So it's a short, punchy video, broad strokes info, keep it around 10 minutes, give you an idea if it's your sort of game. So, I suppose let's lead from the front. There's issues, this game has issues, there might be a good game in there, but as I often say, my sort of battle cry of modern gaming is it's not good enough to be a good game, because there's a lot of good games. We are absolutely flooded with good games. You gotta be great, you gotta set yourself apart. And the problem is there's some red flags in this thing. And so when I compare that to the other stack of games that I've got on the pile, it becomes pretty easy to just sort of go, no, I probably won't play any more of this. Which is a bit of a shame, because I am a bit of a late stage Homeworld fan. I played a little bit of the remasters because I played a bit of Deserts of Carrick, which was a sort of prequel spin-off testing ground that was done by these guys, Blackbird, who didn't do the original Homeworld. So I don't really have a huge nostalgia for Homeworld, but I understand and appreciate its reverence kind of from afar. And I personally really quite enjoyed what they did with Carrick. When was that? Oh, all the way back in 2016. Yeah, right. Though, I do have a, let's call it a relationship with Blackbird Interactive's catalogue, specifically from Hardspace Shipbreaker. There was a period of time earlier in my channel where I was kind of a Hardspace YouTuber, inadvertently I suppose. I kind of did like 200 episodes of Hardspace Shipbreaker. Quite a cool game. Really great gameplay, underpinned by a fantastic soundtrack, art direction, all that sort of stuff, and then they pulled this bait and switch bullshit right before they went out of early access into full release, and they put this crap, just generally dog shit. It was sort of focused around unions and trying to get them implemented into this corporate world, and it was so on the nose, and it was led by an insufferable modern writing character, and it was such a kick in the dick for a lot of people that had been following the game. A lot of the core audience that were keen on Hardspace were probably the other end of the scale that would find, deep character-driven story as an actual buying point. We're in there because we like puzzles and maths and physics and the solving of the puzzle that is breaking apart a ship and its systems, and I don't want to hear about some fucking whingy, entitled person telling a story. Now, Scarlett, why are you ranting about this other game? Well, because whatever infected them and they did that to Hardspace is still in the studio today. This game, same sort of art, it's all set in the same universe, by the way, before I brush over it. Hardspace Shipbreaker, as I understand it, is sort of like a sort of spin-off of Homeworld. So they've got the same aesthetic design, the soundtrack's still really cool, and from what I can tell as a fair weather Homeworld fan, it seems to play just the same as Homeworld. I don't know if there are systems missing or anything like that, or the level of the depth, but it has the mouthfeel of the previous Homeworld and Carrick games. However, it's led by an insufferable, almost carbon copy of the lead character that they decided to fucking jam into Hardspace. And you know what? It's such a blinding red flag, and it makes me think of Chorus. Actually, there's another game that seemed like a lot of fun, sort of like a, not quite Descent, but a sci-fi run and gun kind of ship space game, and that was really cool and it was fun to play and all that, but you had an insufferable chick that was just massively insecure and talks to themselves, and the fact that these guys are chicks doesn't really faze me that much, but I almost feel like whoever's writing the game, I don't know who it is, but it feels like it could be a male writer fetishizing what they see as female, I don't know, insecurity qualities. This is all very speculative, but if you see correlation between me not liking female leads, I don't think that's the case. It's more that they create this caricature of what they think a female is. I'm ex-Navy, and I don't go into this very often, but I have served under some quite brilliant, savage female commanders of ship's company, and you don't get to the top by being a fucking wet blanket, sookie la modern person that has to be special. Generally speaking, these chicks are savages, and you follow them because you kind of respect them. and you appreciate that they're going to lead you into the breach. But anyway, I digress. I'd like to say that anecdotally, I have a little bit more first-hand experience than these dickheads that sit in air-conditioned offices and write these narratives. So even the opening cutscene with this Sheila floating in a bloody water tank, all the writing is just I statements. Me, I am this, I lead this. And it's all told through sort of inner monologue as well. So it's kind of psychopathic. If it is a self-insert, I would say you should admit that writer for help, because all this internalization that this chick keeps saying as their opening monologue is, I am the leader of this ship, me, me, me. And the fascinating thing is all the peripheral characters that they've introduced already are good, are solid. It's like jarring how just insufferable the main character is. It feels like they had one certain person work on that and everyone else just sort of, I don't know, ignored and left on read all their bloody team's messages in the all chat and just, oh, you know, I'm gonna keep writing the bloody, what's her name, Imogen's story, and they're like, yeah, whatever, cunt, we don't care. Just don't send us to fucking HR. That's what it really feels like. It feels like a studio of really talented, wonderful game designers under the oppressive foot of an out-of-control lead writer. Great example is you've got this, what essentially seems to be the commanding officer of the ship, Intel, they call him. He doesn't get a fucking name, which is a bit rude, but he's a cool under pressure, cool as a cucumber, very much, you know, just spewing out his lines of dialogue, but he seems an absolute professional, and like even the command guys from giving you the initial story, not that I don't even want to spoil what little shit story there is, but you know, they're on a secure channel going, this is a very serious mission that you're on, and they're briefing him, and I'm like, I don't understand why this chick is in it. It doesn't make sense. What it feels like is she's an AI character, you know, like an AI ship's controller or something like that, like a Cortana or something like that. But then they thought, let's make her insecure and give her feelings. This would have actually worked, and maybe it changed because of interference during the pre-production stage, but it would have worked if she was kind of dispassionate and just, you know, playing an AI personality. Now, I know that doesn't really tie into the greater Homeworld lore that much. What little I know they're sort of run by these, I don't know, chicky babes that can hyper jump or something like that. Anyway, it's kind of glaring, right? That's the thing, that it's glaring, it's jarring, it's deja vu. I've seen it, like I said, I gave you examples, Chorus, I've seen it in other projects. I see it in their most previous Hard Space project. They did exactly this. They shot themselves in the foot with as big a gun as they possibly could, and they've done it here again, and it's actually kind of wild and kind of jarring. And it really does feel like, not to go too circular, that they let a troublemaker in their studio do this just to protect their jobs, because the other 99% of this game seems interesting and cool. But again, you put big fucking red flags in the opening of your game, that's enough for me to not play it. My advice, go back and play the originals. Even go play Carrick, made by this same studio, their previous one. Again, 2016, when did Hard Space release in full? Hard Space came out of Early Access 2022, so something went wrong in that time period. And my advice to the studio would be, go through your recruitment manifesto, figure out whoever the fuck did this, who you brought in somewhere around 2020 to 2022, bundle them up into a cannon and fire them out into the sun. Because as miffed as I was of the torpedoing of a game that I loved, Hard Space Shipbreaker, I guarantee the Homeworld fandom is much bigger than that. Torpedoing one of the almost royalty level franchises of the RTS space in PC gaming, I don't know if that's the business plan. Anyway, yeah, let's wrap it up there. Might just leave it there for the time being. I'll catch you guys on the next one.